This week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast is sponsored by Pure Creative Apparel. From logo design to specialty clothing to branded merchandise, the team at Pure Creative Apparel can take your ideas and bring them to life. You can find out more at purecreativeapparel.com. And we thank Pure Creative Apparel for sponsoring this week's show. Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey, welcome to episode 67 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy, of course.
And I am your humble co-host, Dana.
Happy podcast anniversary.
Happy podiversary?
Podiversary.
2 years.
I can't believe
in the
that.
books.
I cannot believe it has been 2 years.
Me either. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. And we've done so much. We've seen so much. So, my humble co-host, I have a question for you.
I will do a third year.
Will you do a third year? Yay! Today starts the third year. That was not legitimately my question.
Oh, okay. So what was your question then?
My question was, what are some of your favorite moments from the past year? The second year.
You know, this is a question you should have mentioned to me in show prep, but
I did.
That 2 days ago in passing while we're
Really?
getting ready for work doesn't count as show prep.
Oh my God.
Well, I can honestly say that I think my favorite race of the year would be the Donna Half Marathon in Jacksonville, Florida back in January. February?
It was the beginning of February.
Beginning of the year. That is, for me, one of my favorite races that we do. I want to keep that in our regular rotation of races.
Oh, yeah.
The Donna Half Marathon is the race to end breast cancer, and we all are in some way, shape, or form touched by this horrible disease.
Yes.
And this race in the Mayo Clinic and the doctors and researchers who are there doing what they can to put an end to breast cancer in the 21st century. So going to support that is a fantastic cause, I think is one of my absolute favorites.
I would have to agree with you. And if you are thinking about doing that race weekend, it's not just a half marathon. It is a 5K and a full marathon.
And an ultra.
So you can choose the distance that works for you, and you can support. The Donna Foundation is such an amazing organization. And I had on my list as one of my favorite moments, the moments that we had kicking off the entire weekend interviewing Jeff Galloway, Donna Deegan, and Dr. Edith Perez.
Yeah, that was a fantastic interview. You got a chance to talk to the three who really made that race happen in the first place. And great interview, great information, and just a fantastic weekend. So I would say that as far as races go, that's the one that really sticks out in my mind.
Totally. But it's hard not to think about Jeff Galloway's race in December.
Well, I was going to say, and right up there with it was the moment that you PR'd at Jeff Galloway's race this year.
I think I was so afraid I was going to damage our microphone.
Well, I mean, you did yell pretty loud.
I did. I was so happy.
But no, that was a great personal achievement moment for us, and
yes.
and seeing the excitement on your face when you PR'd there was really good. And I always joke with Amy about that because I said, by the end of that race, especially the last part of it, where you're running around the perimeter of Piedmont Park, there's a good bit of uphill. Now, Jeff is quick to tell you that you finish lower than you start that race.
Elevation, yes.
But there are a bunch of hills in between the start and the finish point. And by the end of that one, and that was my fault. I had not put the work in ahead of that race. So I was feeling my lack of training. And, when you were ready to PR, I'm like, just go, I'll catch up. And I was doing my best to keep up with you, but you
I'm
rocked
yelling
it
at
out.
him. Come on. We have a minute left. Let's go.
But I also think you thrive a little better in cold weather running than I do. For me, it makes me stiffer. And for you, it makes you faster. So
I don't know what it is.
So that's,
or maybe it's just that race weekend in particular.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's different from Donna's race, because I want to soak up every moment of all of those neighborhoods on her course. So PRing is not really at the top of my mind.
No,
that weekend.
That race is really, it's for us. I mean, there are certainly people who go there and PR. They're
definitely.
running for time.
It's possible at both races.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that at Donna, if you're going for the experience of the race and you don't care about your time, you can get so much out of just interacting with the people in the community there.
Yeah, I just don't. I just love stopping where they have gotten up early and made breakfast and they have it in the neighborhood, and the DJs, they're not really, they're neighbors.
And just talking to the people who are out there supporting this race. And it's funny, it sounds weird to say it. You're running through these neighborhoods and these folks are just basically coming out on their own.
Yeah.
And deciding, I'm going to, be out there for a couple of hours or at least and support people as they come running past my house. And they just embrace you for being there.
And they embrace you. So really that wasn't a weekend where I was wanting to PR. I was wanting to soak up the course and the people and the feeling. And at Jeff's race, I just really wanted to get to the end, to see him, to get that medal, to really reclaim that from the battle we had the year before.
Yeah, that's the race for those of you who might have joined us this year and you weren't aware. Last year at Jeff's race at mile 1, that's where you had that really bad, you found a pothole.
I did.
With your ankle.
I did.
And that was at mile 1, and you persevered and pushed through and finished the race on that ankle that swelled up to about the size of my calf.
Yeah, it was bad.
But she did it.
It was bad.
But this was a year really for you reclaiming a couple of those races.
Well, I would say also a favorite experience of mine would be not really the entirety of the race, although Run Disney is awesome and they do it right, and the medals and the on-course entertainment and just running through the parks is so awesome. Mm-hmm. And Carissa and Rudy and all the rest of the race announcers, they really do it right.
They do.
But coming there this year, because I was picked up at mile 10 the year before, just it was a year of battling that past year. And just starting off that race and you falling back a corral, and I'm primarily running that race by myself, but then
till
moment,
about mile, what, 11?
11, and we're on the boardwalk, and I love the moment where you're filming, because this was before we went to primarily audio, that where you said, I don't think she knows I'm here yet, or
I was kind of almost like Steve Irwining it, like filming you, like, I'm sneaking up on you from behind the crowd. And like the minute I blurt out that, I don't think she sees me yet, she turns around and makes eye contact with me. I'm like, I've been spotted.
It was great.
But that was my whole point was, you had done so much weight loss this year. Yeah. A lot of people don't really know because we're not a weight loss podcast.
No, so we don't talk about it all that much.
But Oh gosh, just a little over a year ago, a year and 2 months ago, kind of transitioned 6 days a week of primarily plant-based eating, and then 1 day a week of drunken frat boy. So
That's what you call it?
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
So 6 days a week, we eat nothing but beans, greens, vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, fruit, and then on day 7, whichever day we choose that to be, that's the day that we eat whatever we want. And that's if we're going to have any alcoholic beverage or whatever we can. And you dropped like 70 something pounds with that. I've dropped about the same amount of weight. And it's that made such a difference in your running. And
it did.
And
I got stronger. I felt stronger.
You got stronger. You've been doing more yoga and all that. So, I mean, you've done a lot of homework.
Yeah. So your reaction on camera, even though I didn't see it until after the race and when we were reviewing the footage, I just think like you saying how proud you were.
Well, my whole point of dropping back that corral was really to make you do it or get you to do it on your own and build that confidence so you would know. And because I knew you could do it. I'd seen how much work you'd put in.
But you just never know what's going to happen on a race course, on a race day. It's
again, we know you're one twisted ankle away from bad race day.
Yeah.
And or having to go get your knee scoped.
And you just want it so bad. You work hard. Everybody who listens to our podcast who is a runner or a run walker knows you put a lot of time and effort, and it's not just that moment where you cross the finish line when Carissa announces our podcast or something really, you feel that sense of accomplishment. That's all the work that no one else sees leads up to that.
Yeah.
And we worked hard. You worked hard. Yeah. You worked hard.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So
those are favorite moments.
Yeah, those are favorite moments from races.
Now, how about your favorite food item or eatery?
Oh, well, and gosh, it's so hard to choose just one.
With the understanding that the one you choose doesn't mean you don't love the others any less. It's like choosing your favorite child.
It is. Oh my gosh.
Or your favorite dog or cat.
Which I can't do because we have 4 of them, and
of all of the amazing places we've gone this year, what's the one that stands out in your mind?
I have 2 moments that I would like everyone to know. They are my favorites from as far as the food that we've had. I think that the interview and the appetizer that we had at Poppy's Mexican restaurant with Marcos. Yeah. Oh, he was so great. And his appetizer, that was those peppers and that cheese, that was so good.
It really was.
Oh my gosh. And the pizza in Key West at Henry and Eli's. Oh,
that was the seafood pizza.
Oh my God, it was like shrimp scampi, but on a pizza with scallops and crab, and it was just amazing.
It really was.
Amazing. And they were such great people. Such great people.
Yeah. Okay. So those are your 2?
I mean, all of it was so amazing. It's so hard to choose.
I agree.
Yeah.
It is hard to choose.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my old hometown of Atlanta.
Oh.
And give a little bit of love to our friends over there at the Wrecking Bar Brew Pub.
Oh, they're so good.
This place is so good that we've gone there not once, but twice in the last couple of years on the show. Once was for a dinner type food. The other was for brunch. And I got to tell you, they are doing such amazing food, and I really appreciate these guys as far as the work that they're doing on the food, but also the fact that they took a place that the Wrecking Bar was an architectural artifacts dealer. Like if you wanted to buy a little wrought iron gate for your house, and you could go there, and they yanked one off of an old place that was getting knocked down, and they had it there. Or if you needed a gargoyle, or if you needed something that was not just a plaster cast mold of something, and that was back in the 90s. And the place fell into disrepair and then became just a target for vandals. And these guys bought it, and they refurbed it. It's part of the little 5 Points neighborhood. And it is just killer as far as the food.
Oh, it's amazing.
And they're doing so much with local farm to table, and bringing some life back into that area, which I think is just great. So I have to go back to my old hometown for that one.
I mean, the country fried steak. Oh my goodness, with that gravy was amazing.
It really was.
So tasty.
So I mean that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And then
so hard.
It really,
isn't it hard?
It's really hard. And then I would have to probably say our most recent visit to Kentucky also.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm going to go with Red State Barbecue.
Oh.
The owner was so fantastic to come and sit with us. And we got to try such a great sampling of his food. The guy is just doing
that sausage.
Amazing barbecue, and
brisket.
It's worth the drive out.
Chicken wings.
You just absolutely gotta go there if you're in that part of Kentucky.
Oh, it was great.
So those are my two for food.
Amazing. Yeah.
So we've run, we've eat. Drink.
What about drink? Yeah. Oh, it's so hard. And I think of our Jacksonville brewery visits when I think about some of my favorite moments from this past year. And I can't help but think about all the knowledge that was dropped on us at Southern Swells.
Well, they do know what they're talking about when it comes to beer.
It was awesome. And to know about the different hops and, we like the Galaxy hops. We like the citrusy based kind of hops as opposed to anything with the piney kind of finish, and where that all kind of comes from. That was just kind of scratching the surface of our knowledge about beer, and he was just so giving.
He really was.
In all the knowledge and the stories behind the Southern Swells.
And what inspired each of the beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, they were very good. Really, them and Engine 15, they were both fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, you're not wrong. Those are great picks.
Yeah.
And that's a great pick.
And so even though I'm not normally an IPA fan, although I have
You're coming around.
Introduced to some this year, I would say Southern Swells, since that's their wheelhouse, I would say that was one of my favorite experiences in a brewery.
Okay.
Yeah, and Engine 15 was also great.
Well, I'm going to go a little more recent.
And Wicked Barley was great too.
We actually we hit the trifecta there. But I'm going to go more recent.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that our visit out to Huntsville, Alabama, ended up yielding just a bunch of great moments, as we've been talking about on episodes and the most recent Quick Bite.
So great.
But of the breweries that were there, one that we talked about that I really loved was Inner Space.
Yeah, they were super cool.
The family running it's great. I didn't have a bad beer in the flight I put together for myself. I love the space vibe. Fantastic. I mean, just absolutely fantastic.
Who knew a Goza could taste so good?
And see, you're right there. That salted, that was a salted key lime Goza?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know if that's in the title. I don't remember, but it was awesome.
So you had some great picks. I got some great picks, and that's
And in a year where you can talk to people like Olympian Jeff Galloway and
Olympian Meb Keflezighi.
Oh my gosh.
And
amazing.
We also had, just some fantastic restaurateurs.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, from Red State, we had
Marcos and David. Marcos was from Poppy's.
From Poppy's, David out there, Lisa Larkin in Tampa.
Oh my
at
gosh.
Asian Kitchen. I mean, we just had the opportunity to meet just some of the coolest people. And
Lisa showered us with food.
Well, I think that she was very proud of what they're making there, and with good reason.
Amazing
given that
food.
We've been back twice now, and just in our civilian life to just go and eat and enjoy and not review and photograph.
Such great food.
Great people that we
and
get to
great people,
meet all year.
And people that represent great causes. When I think about us going to Kentucky for Bourbon and Beyond and running the Navy SEALs Foundation, the Jogging for Frogmen.
Yep.
They were such great people too.
Welcoming folks out there.
Yeah.
And, I'd go back in a heartbeat for that race again.
So when I think about interviews and the people that we met, those are just as valuable, those experiences and those lessons and what they teach you. I just can't wait to see what the third year brings, because the second year was full of some great people, great races, even on the race course, people that we met. I just can't thank all of them enough for the amazing moments that we brought to the show.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
So thank you all very much.
Yes. And so happy anniversary to you and to me and to all of our listeners. Thank you for staying subscribed and staying tuned. And we can't wait to share a third year with you. We've got some exciting races coming up that we've planned, and I just can't wait.
And today's episode kicks off year 3.
Yes.
Because we just got back from doing the first in the Run Disney virtual race series.
Super exciting.
By completing the June 5K around the boardwalk at Disney.
So I know we had a couple of episodes back a discussion, and we had some listener comment, and we had some calls in about virtual races and whether or not people do them or find value in doing them and things like that. So we made this virtual, but really kind of not so virtual.
We did the virtual race that's sponsored by Disney.
At Disney.
The Disney property.
At Disney, at Walt Disney World in Orlando. And, I mean, I made you get up at a ridiculous hour.
2 a.m. wake up, 3 a.m. departure.
Yeah.
6 a.m. arrival.
We had to get there when the Boardwalk Bakery opened.
And we did.
Yeah.
Actually, by the time we got up to the area, we arrived. We stayed at one of our favorite hotels up there. And again, not a sponsorship, just a recommendation. If you're looking for an awesome hotel property that gives you an experience that is like being on an official Disney property, but maybe not quite at the price premium for a premium hotel.
You can catch some pretty great deals there.
You can catch great deals at the Hilton Bonnet Creek.
The Hilton Bonnet Creek, amazing.
So we actually arrived up there at 6 a.m., a little after 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And just on a lark, we said, well, we can maybe check our bags and park the car and then just catch an Uber ride over. Well, as it turned out, they said, no, we can go ahead and get you into your room now.
Amazing.
So we actually were able to check in and be out of the hotel by about 7 o'clock. And then we got a ride over to the boardwalk and started our virtual 5K.
Yeah. So shout out to Hilton, and hey, congratulations on celebrating 100 years.
100 years in business.
And we know why, because your customer service is second to none. That lazy river at that hotel is second to none. Everyone at the pool bar was great. All of your offerings are amazing.
Yeah, we because we do so much traveling, we try to maximize any rewards that we get so that we can, maybe get an extra day here or there. And we've done pretty well using the Hilton Honors system. Again, not a sponsor, not a sponsorship.
Not
although
a paid
Hilton,
sponsor.
if you'd like to, info
yeah.
at runeatdrink.net. Just saying.
Yeah.
But so we got over to the boardwalk, and it was about a little after 7.
And it was what? It was daylight.
It was just starting to get daylight.
To be daylight, and we Ubered there, we lifted there, and we started off with coffee because, come on, if you follow our Instagram, you know coffee is life.
Yes.
And we must have good coffee.
So we headed over to the boardwalk, and you basically walk right through the hotel and out onto the boardwalk proper.
Gorgeous.
You hang a right, and you're right there at the Boardwalk Bakery, which is one of the few food establishments over there that's open that early. They actually open at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And they do fresh baked goods, coffee, and breakfast sandwiches.
Yes.
So we headed over there. We hadn't had anything for breakfast.
Nope.
And it's about a 3-hour car ride for us. So we had coffee in the morning before leaving, headed up. We headed right there and went into the Boardwalk Bakery. You're immediately greeted. Super friendly people.
They are.
The pastry case at 7 a.m.
Oh, my gosh.
Chock full. Everything's gorgeous.
Yeah. Bagels, sandwiches.
Ready to go. We
cupcakes
got
if you wanted them.
Yeah, if you wanted to eat the really sugary stuff that early. We got great little photos and video snippets for that.
Yep, we do.
You'll share some of that on social this week, right?
Yep.
But what we actually went there with a mission.
Yes, we did.
They have 2 standout breakfast sandwiches that we wanted to try. I had my eye on one. You had your eye on the other.
I had the butter sandwich.
And do tell, what is that all about?
It looks like a panini pressed sandwich, let me tell you. It is, oh my God, so good. It is so good. It has, Fontina cheese, scrambled eggs, and a ham. And
looking at a picture of it now.
Oh my God. The tanginess from the cheese and the saltiness, not overly salty, but the saltiness from the ham, so delicious. The bread was so soft. It wasn't tough at all. It was the absolute perfect bite. It was nice, soft bread with those great grill marks from a panini. Oh, it was. Yeah, I know that we both got 2 different breakfast sandwiches, and we agreed to half them and to trade, but I was so close to not giving you the other half.
Well, what I like knowing is that you and I were really on the same page, because I had the same thought, because I went a little bit different with mine. You had that one, which I did have a bite of yours, and it was very good. I went a little different, and instead of going with the butter, I went with the Ooey Gooey. I mean, their names are something else here, but
it's fun.
They do an artisan roll, which is kind of like a brioche almost. So it had a little more crust, a little more chew to the bread. It was a little firmer. It says, the description says cage-free egg. The egg was fried on mine. Cheddar, mozzarella, capicola, bacon, oven-dried tomato. I mean,
that was different.
Come on. And, you had, I love a good fried egg sandwich for breakfast anyway. But when you have the capicola and the meatiness, the saltiness from the meat, the bacon, the cheese, the pull of the cheese was perfect. I mean, it was just this hearty, super satisfying bite, especially for somebody who's, only doing meat about once a week.
And it was different from bacon, Like you always see bacon, it would just that you don't see capicola in a breakfast sandwich all the time. No,
you don't. I mean, it was nice because it had bacon on it also, but that capicola is typically not something, at least right where we live, is not something that you see on a breakfast sandwich.
Right.
And, the oven dried tomato, like a sun dried tomato, gave it a little bit of the tartness and sweetness. There was nothing bad about that sandwich at all. That is one of the best. That would be good anywhere, not just at Disney, but we had even talked about this. This is a perfect spot. Like if you're staying over there near Hollywood Studios, going there in the morning, grabbing breakfast at the Boardwalk Bakery, and then heading over to the park, either walking over to Epcot or walking over to Hollywood. That would be the absolute way to go.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful morning.
It was. We're lucky down where we're at. It's all this time of year. It's so hot and humid.
Yep.
Anytime we go north towards Tampa or Orlando, it typically is a few degrees cooler and a good bit less humid. So it was great.
So we had nice fuel for that 5K.
We did.
Our 5K kind of took place around the boardwalk, Epcot, some of the Epcot resorts, and it was just a gorgeous little course, which is actually, they have a picture up by, I think it's the Yacht and Beach Club that say that it is a running trail, like a certified running trail.
Yes.
So it's
well,
something
I don't
like,
know if it's certified by anybody, but they've measured it off.
They've measured the distance, I guess,
and
is what I mean.
it's 0.8 miles around, I believe, was what the sign said.
Yeah.
And basically you're doing a loop, but it has got such neat scenery.
It really does.
And it is just a serene location. It is part of the race course for the Wine and Dine Half Marathon and Star Wars, I believe.
Yes, I think you're right, yes.
You are actually getting to see what that segment of the race course is like. I will say that time of morning, it was kind of nice that while there was wet sections of the boardwalk, most of it had dried.
Yeah, and we were not the only runners out there.
Oh no, there were tons of people running who were staying in either the yacht club, the beach club,
and I would venture to guess that there are some locals that will come and do that loop.
I can't imagine why not. It's a great place, and like I said, you can do your run, you can get your coffee, you can get your breakfast.
Great coffee too,
in one place that's secure and safe and beautiful. And yes, the coffee was really good.
It was. So
that is a great breakfast spot on the Disney properties. And if you are going to be doing any vacationing in the Orlando area, heading over to the Boardwalk Bakery for breakfast before you head into the parks, not a bad way to go.
Not a bad way to start the day.
Especially if you're going to try to do rope drop.
Yes.
If you're trying to get into a park right at the open,
that
place opens long enough before so that you could go get your coffee, get your breakfast, get on transportation, and head to your respective park, and then get queued up to go inside.
We did our 5K, and then we headed over to Hollywood.
Well, with the actual walk over to Hollywood, what we ended up doing...
That was part of our 5K,
was part of our 5K. We actually walked from that area over by the boardwalk, did the loop a few times, and then headed right down along the water all the way to the main entrance at Hollywood Studios for rope drop. And that is part of the race course. Yeah. That whole segment, that's the part towards the end that really narrows, and you're not really making up any time once you get to that spot in any of the Disney races.
No. So we made it there, and rope drop at Hollywood was a different experience for me. Usually we're at the gates and they won't let you do your magic band and fingerprint and go into the park until after the official opening. But they had us going through those booths, and they were kind of queuing us up in the different areas of the park.
They would queue you up right until you get to the main fork, basically, that would take you off to like the different segments of the park. That allowed you to go inside to, surprise, surprise, do some shopping, and go to their first I guess their first quick service restaurant, which is right there. It looks like it's in a firehouse. That's it's kind of like a Starbucks. It's got quick service food and coffee.
Oh yeah,
it's where you were holding the coffee sign for the park employee.
Oh, so great! Yeah, it's a Starbucks.
So we got to queue up right in there and go right in at rope drop.
And we got to do a couple of rides.
We did.
We did, like, Star Tours and Toy Story Mania. And
super fun.
So we headed over to the Toy Story Land, and we got to do the Toy Story Mania, and we got to have something that's meant for the adults. I got to have something very refreshing.
Well, they are going to take care of the parents while they have their kids there,
Of course.
Well, before we go on, I'm going to take a minute to tell you all about our friends at Pure Creative Apparel. Anybody can silkscreen a shirt. Look, we know it's true. I did it as a project in high school. But the team at Pure Creative Apparel is really much more than that. They will take you through the entire process to create your custom items, right from the very beginning with the design of your artwork or company logo, then create mock-ups to show you what the finished product will look like and help you select just the right high-quality name brand clothing or other merchandise on which you're going to place your artwork or your logo. And then they'll get you your items fast. Or if you're not looking to get into the whole online sales thing and you don't want to worry about inventory, packaging, shipping, and all of that, Pure Creative Apparel has a complete e-commerce package available. So whether you're a school, church, or club needing just a few shirts for a special event, or a company looking for a complete branding package, Pure Creative Apparel can help. Find out how by going to purecreativeapparel.com. And we really thank them for their support of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. So you found something that's really for the parents at Toy Story Land.
Yes, it's at Woody's Lunchbox, and it's called the Grown Ups Lemonade with vodka, lemonade, and black cherry puree.
Ooh.
It was quite refreshing. I mean, you can have your coffee at that time of the morning after the 5K, but I just wanted something that was really refreshing because the sun had started to make its way overhead. We were a little sweaty. I'm not going to lie. I think that it could sneak up on you. It did not taste alcoholic in any way.
No, I got to taste it a little bit, and I was like, oh boy, yeah. And actually, I think you're right. If you hadn't told me that had alcohol in it, I would have.
Black cherry lemonade?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a shake or a frozen drink consistency at all. No, it had ice cubes in it, and it was just refreshing.
Well, I don't blame you one bit.
Mm-hmm.
It got hot there.
Yeah.
But we found a couple of other tasty beverages, but not there. Not at the park. So our last day, we decided we were going to go and get some lunch on our way out of town.
Right.
So we packed up from the hotel and we went over to Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yes.
Because we thought we were going to grab, maybe a beverage with some lunch over there.
Yes.
And we ended up going to the Sanaa Lounge.
Yeah.
At the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, so pretty. And right there by the Savannah View, so you had the animals outside the window.
Yes, we didn't sit. We sat at the bar, and shout out, cast, compliment, whatever you want to say to Joe.
Joe was awesome.
Our bartender / server / he did it all.
He did.
Yeah, he was amazing. But you would look over our shoulders and we could see through the restaurant to the Savannah View because the windows were huge. So we saw some giraffe.
Yeah, giraffes just hanging out, doing their thing.
Whatever.
Giraffes
chilling out,
giraffing.
Some birds, all of that. It was awesome. It was so well themed and you really felt like you were experiencing just some of the great Savannah views, animals. And when we went into the Sanaa Lounge, because there was an hour wait for the restaurant, and we were like, well, we need to get on the road, got to avoid some bad weather that's on the way. We decided to sit in the lounge because you don't have to have a reservation, and there was no wait.
And you could walk right in. That was the best part.
Walk right in, sit right there at the bar. And Joe was so knowledgeable. We said, well, we've heard nonstop about this bread service from all these podcasts that we listen to, like the Be Our Guest podcast and all the Disney food groups that we follow on Facebook and things like that. So this had 5 different breads and 9 different sauces.
And they're from spicy to sweet, and the breads are fresh made. These are flat breads that they cook back there.
They do it all on site
in the tandoor. It is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you've heard about it is true. Not terribly expensive.
No, it wasn't. I mean, we split that, and that was huge.
It was huge
because it had 5 different: the traditional naan, the garlic ginger naan, the spiced naan, the onion kulcha.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I may butcher this. And the paneer paratha.
Yeah, so those are different types of flatbreads.
Yeah.
So they're fresh made.
Yeah.
Delicious. And
warm.
Perfect for a light lunch for 2.
Yeah.
You know. So.
And then the sauces, I mean, the cucumber raita, the roasted red pepper hummus was awesome. So flavorful. The mango chutney.
Mango chutney was really good. But
Fruity,
Joe,
spicy.
as he sees me gravitating towards the hot stuff, goes,
"Oh, yes.
So how hot do you like it?" I'm like, I like spicy food. I grew up eating traditional Thai food. And he says, let me bring you something. And he goes back and gets this stuff called pili pili sauce, which he kind of called a mother sauce for some of the other stuff that they do. And it's basically this pepper puree with spices in it. And it was an attention getter as far as the heat goes. It had a lot of Scotch bonnet pepper in it.
Which he didn't tell us about until after he'd brought it over.
Well, he's like, it's really spicy. Might want to be careful with that. And I'm like, I'm good. And I'm spooning it onto my bread. And then, I bite into it. The flavor is really good. But as you're chewing, it starts building.
Oh.
I'm like, oh yeah, I may have made a
good,
horrible mistake here, but I didn't. It kind of tapers off, and fortunately, we found a couple of delicious beers to cool us off.
An entree, if you will, into the drink segment of our show. Yeah.
Yeah, and you entreed us with your
I did with the grown-up
vodka.
With the grown-up. Well, vodka is for grown-up.
Or your grown-up lemonade.
Grown-up lemonade. Yeah. So, yes. But, legitimately, we had a reason to have refreshing beer.
We did. And this was stuff that's pretty unique. And you literally went out of country for yours.
I did. Imported from Kenya. East African Breweries Limited, I guess. The Tusker Premium Lager at 4.2% ABV. And it was really like a golden yellow. And it was it didn't come off the tap. And, I got just mild, medium carbonation. And it was just really refreshing after that spicy sauce.
Lagers, I think, make it such a great accompaniment to spicy food in general. I mean, that's why you get, great Mexican lagers like Modelo.
Yeah, and they say that this Tusker is it's like a harp. But I think maybe a harp had a little bit of a more bitter finish.
I would agree with that.
Than this did.
Yeah.
This, I got like corny, malty kind of light body, and mouthfeel.
Highly drinkable.
Mm-hmm. I would have had a few. Yeah.
Well.
But what? Yes, let's talk about the lager you had.
Well, given that we were just getting one and only one with a meal, I also went with a lager because I wanted to just try something that was unique to the spot that we were having our delicious food at. And come to find out that Disney partners with Anheuser-Busch to make something that is specific for them to serve there, and it's called their Safari Amber. This is an American Amber or an American Red Lager that is manufactured just for Disney. The best thing that I could liken it to would be like Blue Point Toasted Lager or maybe like a Killian's Irish Red. Joe likened it to Yingling, and he was
really
spot on. Very smooth, very drinkable, right around 5% ABV.
Malty.
Very malty, but balanced. It had a good bit of bite to it. I I enjoy, like, again, lighter bodied, breadier beers that are great with spicy food. And like I said, that pili sauce called for it. And this was a perfect accompaniment. So,
you were sweating.
It's not I was.
And that your cheeks were
My cheeks were sweating. That's why I know it's good. It's not so hot that I can't talk, but it makes my cheeks right under my eyes start to sweat.
And you know it's good.
Yeah. So that is what I had, but and I know not a microbrewery. It's brewed by Anheuser-Busch. They spill more beer than most microbreweries actually, or craft brewers brew in a year. Yeah. I get it, but they're no dummies, and they paired a perfect red lager for the food that they're serving there.
Yeah.
And Joe recommended it, and he wasn't wrong.
It was
a really good pick. So
both of them were delicious.
I don't want to
refreshing.
Ever get into like beer religion arguments about never having an Anheuser-Busch product, because most of these companies you can always find something good in their repertoire. So
we like to support local breweries, local tap houses, but
But occasionally,
Anheuser-Busch.
Some of the big boys get it right.
Yeah.
So
they have some great stuff when they partner with Disney.
This is a fantastic beer. This would be a great beer to have by the pool.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, well, I thought that about the Tusker.
Yeah, and I would agree with Tusker.
The Tusker
as well.
Premium Lager. Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Mm-hmm. So that is the drink segment, but we have a bonus segment.
Yes.
We have a bonus segment because we have something special for this episode, for this week, to commemorate.
Well, it is our second anniversary.
And any anniversary needs a celebration.
It needs a celebration, and we want to reward and celebrate you as our audience, as our viewers. Before we became an audio podcast, and then when we transitioned to audio, you stayed with us, and we gained some new listeners, and we just want to say thank you. And our friends at Pure Creative Apparel have sent us some great swag.
And we want to share a swag bag with a couple of our listeners.
Yes, we do.
So we're doing a giveaway.
Both on Facebook and on Instagram. So really, there are two.
Yes, one for each.
One for each.
The rules for Facebook. First of all, we can only ship to the U.S. and Canada, guys.
True.
So
I don't know.
U.S. and Canada only this go round.
We're going to try and figure it out.
We'll figure it out, but for right now, U.S. and Canada only. Rules for Facebook. To enter, to win, what do they need to do?
For Facebook, we will be posting this episode on Facebook on our Run Eat Drink Podcast page at Run Eat Drink Podcast. And that post, we want you to like, of course, and to tag one of your fellow runner, foodie, or buddies that enjoy a good beer or a great meal or
delicious cup of coffee
or enjoy or may enjoy one of the races that we feature. So tag one of your friends and share the episode.
That's it. Like, tag, share.
Like, tag, share.
And you're entered.
Yes.
That's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the folks on Instagram.
For the folks on Instagram, we can't post the episode proper there. So we will post the artwork as we always do. And we say that the link is in our profile, our bio.
Mm-hmm.
When we post it, love it. Give it a little heart.
Click on the heart.
Click on the heart or double tap the artwork. So you'll love it. Tag a friend, and that's it.
So, love it and tag a friend.
Love it and tag a friend.
So, there's two ways to win on two different social media platforms.
Yep.
That's all we're asking you to do.
Yep.
The
And make sure that on Instagram you are following the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Okay, so there's 3 things to do.
Yeah.
Follow the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Yes.
And our handle over on Instagram is what?
At Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
At Run, Eat, Drink podcast. Love that post.
And tag a
and
friend.
tag a friend.
Yep.
So 3 things to do on each platform. This will be going live as soon as this episode goes up, and we're going to run it through next Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
Run it through next Monday before our next episode posts.
Right.
We will announce the winner or winners
plural
on next week's episode.
Definitely.
So we'll do that. Make sure that once you have entered that you are liking us so that we can message you on either platform.
Yes.
So that we can get your contact information to ship out the swag bag to you once that you've won. So,
yes.
Pretty cool stuff. We're very excited, and this is our way of saying thank you for sticking with us and helping us grow over the last couple of years. That we really enjoy doing this for you guys.
And we hope you'll keep on listening and you'll participate because we want to share the love and show you some love.
So celebrate our 2nd anniversary with this. Thank you for sticking with us for 2. We look forward to an awesome 3rd year. Next week, what are we doing?
Next week is a training week.
Training week. Man.
Yeah. And we're still collecting some information and some tips and tricks about running in the heat because let's be honest, I mean, the long training runs are getting longer.
They really are. Although I've been nursing an injury, so I'm kind of laid up, but that's just me.
Yeah, we're hoping you get better soon.
You're powering through the runs without me.
I'm trying, and the mileage is getting higher, and
so is the temperature.
And the humidity is the killer here.
So another training week.
Yes.
We're probably going to have maybe a quick bite next week.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we've still got some more stuff to share.
Of course. Yes, we might have bonus from Disney. We might have bonus still yet from Huntsville to share with you. But if you have any tips or tricks for running in the heat, beating the heat, and making sure that you stay healthy in the heat and get your training runs done, don't forget to reach out to us at info@runeatdrink.net or at 941-677-2733.
Was that 941-677-2733?
Yes, sir. You are correct.
Okay. I was just making sure that it was 941-677-2733.
And info@runeatdrink.net.
Send us your tips. Record a voice message at the phone number. Send us email. Email us an audio file at info@runeatdrink.net. However you can tell us. If you can send us the audio file, we'd love to share it. If you just want to email us, we'll read it.
Yeah.
Maybe do some dramatic reading of it with some music and sound effects.
Maybe an accent.
Do some Foley work.
I don't know.
So, okay.
Anyway, thanks for listening to this episode.
That's this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Thanks for helping us celebrate.
In the book, 67 episodes,
Yay.
2 years.
2 years.
And something like 70-something quick bites. So, pretty good amount of stuff out there.
Yeah.
So we hope you all are enjoying it. Thank you so much.
Yes, for tuning in, and tune in next week. Have a great run, race, anything you're doing, accomplishing, exploring, and indulging. Have a great one. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having a great 3rd year because of your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Run, Eat, Drink podcast. And on Twitter, we're at Run, Eat, Drink pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or shoot us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.